Welcome to the Coaching Show with the head coach of the Charlesdale Warhorse, Kenny Ford. Kenny, you guys had a great season so far, undefeated. Come off your first conference game last week. Give us your overall perspective of last week's first conference game.
I thought we were really crisp. I thought it was probably the most well-rounded overall game. We didn't do everything right, but, the kids made a good goal line stand down there to preserve the shutout, and we got to play a few kids there at the end. And but I thought the kids really, on both sides, did what we asked them to do. They did play responsibility football defensively. They were an option team, and so was able to control that. They broke a couple of runs there on some things, but not, nothing we couldn't contain. So, I thought, for such a small group and what we did, it's hard. The kids are learning, at least a couple of positions on each side of the ball, and they did. That was a complete best game we've played, I think, all season.
How's the guys holding up so far? And you were talking on the field that said you're, got a few injuries, and but you guys, Chris, ready for Friday night's conference game?
You're not ready yet. I mean, we're thin. We're just really thin, and we try to take care of the ones that's as far as that are banged up during the week, so they can play on Fridays, and that makes us thinner as far as getting prepped for the game on that's coming Friday. So it's hard to get ready for the next game when we're banged up from the week before, and with only 24, 25 kids. We're having to bring up JVs to scrimmage and things like that. Yet we still can't do some, just banging and slobber knocking as far as getting after it. We just got to go to our blocks and make sure everybody knows what to do. And just hopefully what we're doing is teaching them to be in the right position for Friday night to where they can make plays.
After how many years of being a head coach?
It's to be my 29th at Owen and 35th overall as a coach, but 29th.
Over the 29 years of head coach of a high school football team, what have been your ups and downs as coach?
Winning and losing. When winning, I'm up. When we lose, I'm down. That's it in a nutshell.
Is your competitive edge changed from the first year?
No, one bit. Maybe even gotten more than me.
We look back. I was looking back at the stats for 2004. You had 11 wins and 2 losses. Last year, 9-3. This year, right now, undefeated. Undefeated pretty much last year in the conference game. It come down to Polk.
Yeah. Our biggest thing now is we're starting to get little nicks and scrapes. We're in the middle of the season. We've still got a long way to go, and I'm more worried about surviving. Of course, winning. That's what I want more than anything. But being able to take care of these kids during the week also, and have them ready both, and also ready to play on Fridays. If we don't do some things during the week, then they won't be ready to play Friday night. But then if we don't take care of them to where they can play, then we're in trouble too. So you got to realize that in some positions our quality of backup is really thin, especially in the O-line. So we've got to really make sure those big old boys up front stay healthy.
We'll take a commercial break, and we'll be back more with the head coach of Charlesdale Warhorses, Kenny Ford. To the Charlesdale Warhorses, Kenny Ford. We've been talking about last week's game and some of Kenny's history here at Owen. Kenny, what's going to be the key factor to keeping the team together to take it all the way through this conference?
As far as together, the kids are a real tight bunch. You ain't got to worry about that with them. As far as just being, they got to be smart on and off the football field and take care of themselves. And you always worry about what they do when they're not around and things like that. But hopefully, they've all been brought up right, which I think they have, and they'll do the right things. But also, again, we got to stay healthy. We really do. I mean, this whole team can change in a heartbeat within 1 or 2 plays just because certain people go down. So, we got to have some luck with us if that's going to happen.
This week coming up, play Mitchell, second conference game. You had a chance to look at your films. Anything that they may try to throw at you that you guys are going to have to?
That's all I do. I start on Saturday morning. I mean, I as soon as that other game's over with, I'm thinking about the next one. So, I start watching film on Saturday morning of the next opponent, and then I watch it every day after that. I was up at 6 a.m. this morning watching it again. So, I want my kids prepared and not to be, I don't want not something to happen that they're not lined up and unexpected. Where teams will do stuff like that you haven't prepared for, but if you got it in position, we'll be all right.
Let's step back a couple of weeks ago, and we want to talk about something. 10 years, finally, the Owen Warhorses beat the Reynolds Rockets. What was the combination to beating the Reynolds? It's been a rivalry for years, and as long as you've been here. I think Reynolds was even surprised, and I was. I knew the guys had the confidence to do it, but what was the key factor of beating Reynolds?
I guess the want to, the kids more, really. They jumped on us there a little bit and got us reeling some, and we changed defenses, and the kids hung in there. I think they do know that if they just stay with us, that we'll get them in the right position, and they trusted us to do it, and we did. And so a big defensive change about toward the end of the third, and the kids just basically sucking it up. And once we made a big stop and had a chance to drive down to win the football game, we did. And you could just see there's some tired boys out there, and they just sucked it up, and they wanted it. They really wanted it. It's the best thing I can tell you, because there's some beat-up warriors out there.
So that had to make your weekend after
we had an open date next week to help that a bunch.
How's the coach? Coach, we know you have some back problems. Everybody wants to know how you're feeling. Tell the viewers how you're doing. They're out there concerned. Will know how you're doing.
As long as we're winning, I'll be fine. I can suck it up, but I don't want. It's just what it is. I can't ask these kids to go do what they do and go through what they do if I don't do it too. So I think they see that and know that. But I've always been that way. It's just it just hurts a lot more than it used to.
One more question we're going to ask you. Going to Mitchell this week. I look, we're pretty much tied with, Polk and Mountain Heritage and the Western Highlands standings right now. They're all three teams are undefeated. As you look at the schedule, is there any of these teams, as far as Mountain Heritage we play in Polk, that gives you any concern?
All of them. I mean, I'm just worried about this week.
Yeah.
And then the next week. It's 1 week at a time. It's all we can do. We talked about last week being step one. All right, step one's done. Now we got to take step 2 this week. So I just take it one day at a time, one game at a time, 1 week at a time. That's all I can do right now. And like my mama's singing, one day at a time. That's all I can do.
This is the head coach of the Charles D. Owen Warhorses, Kenny Ford. Join us here next week on the Coaches Show, presented by Pepperoni's Gourmet Pizza.